$100,000 worth of stuff in the last 2 years that I bought for nothing 10 years ago.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, that's the disadvantage to flipping. I mean, there's advantages and there's disadvantages, obviously, but I do a lot of rentals. I do sales. I do construction. I mix it up, man. I do it all. I'm not afraid.
You got it. So you guys, Ray, the podcast has started already. So for those of you, welcome to the family. If you're new to the channel, be sure to boom, smash that subscribe button. And if you enjoy this interview, please show you my guest and your boy King Khang some love. Boom, smash that thumbs up. So today I'm bringing on a true player in the real estate game. Ray has over 300 rentals, and he's going to share with you guys the secret on how to go from zero to building a massive wealth and passive income. And man, he got the more expensive Ferrari than I do. Not that it matters, dude, but his is
matter.
Dude, his is the true bowler Ferrari. So anyways, you guys, help me welcome Ray. What's up, dude?
What's going on, man?
So Ray, man, just, really quick short story for those that don't know who you are, kind of where you started, and then how did it lead you and how did you arrive, into the, becoming a real estate investor, man?
I gotta say, it started when I was in college. I was stuck with books and studying, and I didn't like college, and I was forced to go there by my parents, per se, typical, I guess, expectation of a parent. I dropped out my junior year, drove home from Pittsburgh, came home, 4.5-hour drive, and said, I'm getting into real estate. I had no idea how I was going to do it. Not a clue.
Okay.
I knew I had a passion. I had two passions as I grew up as a kid. And my two passions were real estate and cars. So I was like, how can I pay for these cars, right? Yeah. So I was like, well, real estate can pay for these cars. So, that's kind of my two main passions. And I should say three. Watches are my third thing. But
dude, Ray, sorry, man. I don't mean to interrupt you, dude, but that watch looking pretty nice, dude.
Daytona.
How much is that?
Rolex Daytona.
How much is that guy?
Let's not talk about it.
And Ray, how many, dude? So how did you got it? So when you first got into real estate, let's talk about that journey, man.
Okay, so as I was telling you, I came home from college. My very first property I bought was a 2-unit. I was 23 years old. I bought a 2-unit. I lived in the one, and I rented the other one out. And that's how I started. I started with that, and I was able to save some money by having no living expense, by living in the 1 unit, renting the other unit out. And I was able to focus on actually going out there and finding other real estate deals, whether it be flips, rentals, or wholesale at that point. I mean, I was wholesaling even back then. I mean, obviously different than now, but we wholesaled. And I mean, it just, no one put a name on it, 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
So gotcha. So Ray, when you first started, so basically you house hack, right? You live in 1 unit, you rent out the rest. Now, my question to you is, how did you buy your first real estate property, dude?
That was real simple. So, everyone, okay, so back then, I say back then, it's a little bit of time ago. There's different ways of acquiring money. You know this now, everyone knows someone with some money, right? I mean, or they have family or friends or somebody. You have to go out and be a talker and close yourself on finding someone with that money that wants to make some money on their money. So that's how I started with that. And I was able to get my first property going. Once you get a couple going and you're using that hard money, it wasn't called hard money 10, 12 years ago, I don't believe. It was just kind of,
soft money.
Yeah. So, you just kind of I had no money at the time. I came home from college. I was able to buy this 2-unit super cheap. It was 50% off retail value, a divorce situation. And I got in there and I got them to hold the money for me. And then as I did that, obviously, it led me to thinking, what else could I do here? How else could I generate more rental income, just not by living for free. So I did that for a couple years. I'll be honest with you. I lived there for 4 years in that 2-unit for free while I stacked the dollars.
Stack the dollar. Because I was going to say, because you can't be a bowler if you got no dollar, baby.
So I did that. I saved. And, as I did that, I was able to buy my next property, FHA, which back then was only, I don't know, it was less than 3% down.
Right.
And that was a fourplex at the time. So I was told by the bank back then, if it would have been a fiveplex, it wouldn't have been able to go through that process. So I was new at this, obviously. So I got a fourplex. I later sold that fourplex 10 years or 12 years later for, I don't know, 20 times more than I paid for it. But so I kept doing that. So every time I make a sale, I bought something, I wholesaled something, or I flipped something. I took that cash, put it back, stacked it up. And then I didn't need other people's money anymore. I went ahead and saved enough up to do it on my own, and go to a local bank and do those kind of things. Because as you know, commercial lending is a little different than the standardized lending out there. Right. People don't know that, but it's a lot more lenient. Even 10 years ago it was.
Right.
So, so I just kept going. I built a rent roll to $50,000, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to double it. I set a new goal. I'm going to get to $100,000. So then I went ahead and doubled that within 1 year. And I just kept going and going and going until I had a little over 336 units is what I ended up having before I started selling again.
Damn.
So now I will say there's a lot of pains and growth with that. It's not just snap your finger and all of a sudden the money shows up. You have to put the work in, the time, managing the people, finding the tenants. I mean, there's so many parts that are moving to this.
Right. So now with those 336, Ray, do you manage them, or you have a property manager?
So as I grew, I hired a full-time manager in my office on salary.
So you have in-house?
In-house, yes, we did it in-house.
Okay.
It made more sense for me because, if you only have a couple, two, or some people say, I just want to have 10 rentals and that's all I want. Right. Use a management company, right? But when you have a couple hundred, the savings by hiring an employee to manage that was way better. And then I also brought on plumbers, electricians, and other general maintenance people. And it made more sense because it kept them busy while they're managing and maintaining the properties that we're renting.
Gotcha, man. And Ray, how does that go for you? Because I also have friends that have, obviously a lot of units, and a lot of them try in-house, and then they felt like even with the in-house, hiring people, it's just a lot of work. So they outsource this and have a property manager. So I just kind of want to know like your experience on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a matter of preference. I've tried both. I got lucky. My property manager has been with me for over 10 years now.
Nice. Okay.
When you can keep an employee that long, that kind of really helps.
Yeah.
Because the thing is if you got bogged down with the calls and the problems every day of the rentals, you can't focus on anything else like flipping real estate or wholesaling real estate or trying to find that next deal out there that you want to maybe acquire. Right. So I will say I have a very good management system in place in the office, and we fine-tuned it and like dialed it in real good. And I can tell you that when you work the math backwards, it pays for me to keep it in-house. I save thousands and thousands of dollars just in and collection fees, from not having a third party do it.
Right. So now, Ray, how do you question number one is, how do you find a good property manager for those that are looking for one?
I got lucky because it was a friend of mine in high school. So I got lucky.
Got it.
That helped me a lot at the time.
Gotcha.
So it's not easy. That you got to really interview the people. You got to understand their motives. You got to understand what kind of work ethic they have. You're going to have to understand what their expectations are. My office here in York here, the main office, we don't open till 10 o'clock every day. Do you want to know why I do that?
Why?
Well, my staff, they have kids. They got to get to school. They've got they're like all like trying to rush to get there by 9 or 9:30. I said, look,
Right.
we'll open up at 10 o'clock. And you know what? It's worked out great for me. I probably should be more strict with that and get them there earlier, but they have families, they have kids, so the thing I will observe that I can say I see on the cameras is a lot of times that same staff is there till 6 and 7 o'clock at night though.
Wow.
Done. So it works out from, I say 10 o'clock, but sometimes they come in at 9:30, but we don't open our doors till 10.
Gotcha, man. And Ray, I mean, dude, I think environment and having that kind of that community is freaking huge. So good for you, man. Now, my next question to you, Ray, is how do you buy a rental? And do you just buy in states or do you also go out of states?
I do in and out. I do PA, New York, Illinois, Delaware, Maryland, Maine, all the way to the top of the United States, right near the Canadian border. But for rentals, I'm primarily in Pennsylvania only. Now, you're saying, how did I acquire those? Most of my rentals, believe it or not, and I'm probably going to blow your mind with this, but most of my rentals that I bought for pennies on the dollar, and I bought them all at tax sales. Yeah,
okay.
See, most people don't know that, but I buy a lot of tax sales. Tax sales allow you to buy property at huge discounts. I would go to tax sales, and now you have to pay in full in cash at the time of sale. But I've gone to sales where I've spent $1 million in a day. Now that's more recent. I mean, not when I first started. When I first started, every dollar I had saved, and I'd buy everything I possibly could, whether it was 50 grand or 100 grand. I'd buy every rental I could, and then I would build out that rental from there, remodel it, and then place a tenant in it. And then
okay. Gotcha. Okay, Ray. I think everyone that watch my channel, because I don't talk about tax sales because that's not my expertise. So, Ray, could you drop some bombs on that? Like kind of exactly like the short, brief step of what they need to do. Yeah.
So there's two types of tax sales. There's two kinds. There's an upset tax sale and judicial tax sale. The judicial tax sales, when they take place, it's a free and clear, hypothetically lien-free sale. You have to still do your homework. I always recommend to everybody that does tax sales. I spoke at Chris Rude's event about this, about tax sales. I don't know if you know who he is. He's a real big wholesaler. Skills get the deals. I talked about tax sale there because the thing is my first thing everyone that gets into doing tax sales, first thing you should do is go seek an attorney. Have that attorney help you understand the process of the tax sale in your state. Okay. The reason I say that is because every state is different. I know Pennsylvania real well. I know New York real well. I know Maryland real well. But if you have someone on here right now that's from, let's say, North Carolina or South Carolina, they have judicial tax sales down there. They need to hire an attorney to understand the process of it. But what I've learned over the years is the properties are 50% or more of a discount typically when you buy. I even buy flips from that kind of. I buy flips off from the tax sale. I just did a flip that I bought a tax sale for $44,000 and I sold it for $210,000. So I mix it up, whether it be a rental or a flip. Now I had rehab in that. I had another $40,000 to rehab, so I had all but $88,000 with carrying costs and everything in there. But I still sold it for over $210,000. I made over $100,000 in that deal.
Dang, dude! Wow. So man. So now, Ray, go ahead.
But I bought it at a tax sale. So the thing is every state is different. So if someone wants to understand what their state is like, I don't. What state are you in, by the way?
Washington State, Seattle, Washington.
So you don't have. I know for a fact you don't have judicial tax sales there, but like California does.
Okay.
You wouldn't think California would, but they do. So the thing you have to look at is the first thing they need to do is just call down to the courthouse, ask for the tax claim bureau. And from there, they ask the questions, what kind of tax sales do you have? They'll either say it's tax certificate, which is a little bit more complex, but again, the attorney can guide them through it. And my favorite's always the judicial or the upset tax sale. The upset tax sale is not a lien-free sale, but you can do a title search to know what you're getting yourself into. And then the judicial sale is actually a lien-free sale typically. But again, consult an attorney.
Gotcha.
Bye.
Got it. And Ray, You mentioned that these have to be paid with cash,
They do.
like a cashier check. Okay.
Yeah, you write a check. Sometimes they require cashier's check, money orders, or a business check if they get proof of funds letter. Typically, I just go to the sales. I got a proof of funds letter from my local bank for that for that day or whatever. I go in and
Gotcha.
I go in there and write a check. Now, here's the thing. I help a lot of individuals go to tax sales that are near me and local. I'm helping one of my general contractors who wants to buy a property or two. We're going to go to tax sale. All he's going to do is buy the tax sale and wholesale it. Try and make a couple $1,000 on each one. He should be able to pick a property up for a couple $1,000. That's it. The whole house. I wish I could show you some of the examples of some of the homes I've bought for the money. It would blow your mind. Most people don't understand tax sales. They don't know about tax sales. You remember Carlton Sheets back in the long days ago? Carlton Sheets. He used to do tax sales back then. I mean, I don't think he's around anymore, but he talked about tax sales.
Gotcha.
There is risk with it. That's why I say get an attorney that understands those types of sales. But once you find an attorney, you can make a lot of money just doing tax sales. I know people that just do nothing but tax sales and they do nothing else for work. They buy them at tax sales, they wholesale them from the tax sale, or they'll buy them, renovate them, and resell them. So that's one way that's really, really, really good. It's a good way to pick up property. Now, you're going to have competition still, but not like in the open MLS. You might have 50 people, 100 people there.
Gotcha.
Example, in Pennsylvania, just a couple months ago, I helped an individual pick up 4 properties from tax sale, and he brought $10,000 with him to the sale in cash because they said they accepted cash up to 10 grand. He saved it up. He bought 4 properties for $5,800. And I can show you proof of that. I actually have the receipts to show you that. 4 properties. They're not nice, but they're resellable. Resold at every single one of them wholesale for a profit of $40,000 net after every fee. So got his $5,800 back, right?
Yeah.
And 40 grand. Now ask me how long that took. That's the key here.
How long that took, Ray?
Less than 45 days.
Shit, 45 days for 40 G's.
Yes.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Not bad at all. Ray, so now
dude. No, it's not every situation. We had to drive 5 hours to that tax sale in the middle of the state. And here's the thing. There was only 3 other bidders there. So opening bid was $1,000, and we're taking our bidder badge 1,100, 1,200, 1,300. And most of the homes were bought for less than $1,500.
Dang. Now, my next question, Ray, what are some downsides when it comes to tax sales?
Good question. Downside is if the old owner were to come back and say, I want the property. If that were to happen, believe it or not, they revert the sale and then you'll get your money back. However, it's not instant. It takes months. That's one down. The second downfall, if you get into mineral rights, you got to be careful there. A lot of the mineral, do you know about mineral rights? You have those out there in the western part of the U.S.? No, I don't think you do you?
No.
Huge in the East Coast. You got to watch for the mineral rights stuff. There's guys that soak up mineral rights. They're separately sold from the deed. It's not part of the deed. It's separate things. You got to do your homework. You got to know the property. You got to do a full evaluation of the property and a full evaluation of its title.
Gotcha. And now, when you do the title search, Ray, is this typically something your attorney would help you with?
Yeah, they have a searcher. They don't actually do it themselves. They have a searcher that will go in the courthouse and say, I got 10 properties. They'll say, okay, it's going to be $120 per 10 properties, and I'll do all these searches for you. Then you have a complete file on that property ahead of time before you even bid.
Gotcha.
But
the
other downfalls would be, let's say someone died and the taxes weren't paid. There was no estate. I mean, you know where I'm headed with this. And the property goes up for tax sale. Well, the estate was never opened, right? So you could be forced to open that estate, which could very well happen. And then you'd have to pay the inheritance tax on that particular project. But usually it doesn't amount to much money at all. I bought a 7-acre parcel. When I bought it, the tax claim bureau warned me and said that the person's dead and there's no heirs. And they said that the estate's never been opened. Well, you know what? It turns out I bought it for like nothing. I think I bought it for less than $2,000. with the fees. And I ended up listing that property in the open MLS for $49,900. And the local real estate attorney helped me figure out the estate. So it cost me like $5,000 in escrow, but I had less than $2,000 out, and I sold it for all but $50,000. So I held 5 in escrow till they figured out the estate thing. Local attorney, where the local land was, they sorted it out, and I got a check for the balance later, like months later. It wasn't much, less than $1,000.
Man, Ray, dude, this is just too much knowledge, bro. Too much knowledge. Now, I mean, Ray, since we don't have a lot of times here, I want to steer into another directions. Is talk about rental property. Just because I have a lot of people ask, so Khang,
Yeah.
because I know you have variety. You have single family, you got multifamily, you got apartment, you probably got commercial. Which one of them which one do you like the best? That are most stress-free and most profitable?
I will say, for someone that doesn't like, okay, the single families, I will say, after holding mine for 10 years, the single families, I cashed out of them on the sale, big numbers compared to what I had them in for. They appreciated better. The multis were great because of cash flow, because I like cash flow every single month, right? You do too. But the thing is, when you go to sell that multi, you're selling to an investor who wants the best deal again. Correct. So that's why I like them all. I like them all. I like mixing it up. I love multis for the cash flow. I love the single families for the exit plan, right? Exit plan. I mean, I can tell you, I did an interview with Grant Cardone, Power Players, in 2016, where we talked about how he thought single families were a waste of time. And my portfolio, I was only asking little under $4 million for my single families that I had at the time. Okay. And I ran for about 5 years there. I was in about 5 years. I sold those all in 2020 for over $10 million. Damn. And less than $1 million tied up in the single families. So the point is your exit plan on a single family, if you can retail out of it, is better for a profit standpoint. But for a cash flow, I love the multis. I have a 12-plex that I had that's 4 commercials and 8 residentials. I love stuff like that because the rent roll's huge. I lose a tenant, I don't really stress out about losing that income. I got plenty of other income there, right? With a single family, you got to be careful. You lose a tenant, you'll lose that income for the month, and you got to play another tenant. And that's where people get nervous, right? But I like all the products. I mean, what do you like? I mean, you have multis.
Yeah. So you know what, Ray? I think that I think with your diversification is amazing, man. Because when I first got into real estate, Ray, I went to a seminars, and this guy, like, basically he teach about everything, and he said that you got to have a variety. And here's why. And it's just exactly how you explain it, but I'm going to use it in dollar term. So let's just say all you do is you carry $100 with you. Well, some people don't have enough to break $100. But what if you have 100, you have 50s, you have 20s, and you have 10s, right? So basically, the smaller it is, it's easier for people to go and break it if you ever need some change, right?
Right.
So that's where exactly what you just mentioned. That's where the single family comes in, because the single family, if you need to unload it, you can unload it very quick. You can sell. There's a lot of people who buy single family. So with the multi, apartment, and commercial, etc. So you guys, I kind of know where I'm heading with this. But Ray, I want to ask you this, man. And since you have done that interview with Grant, and I remember Uncle G said that to start the lease that he want to see you get in, we lost you. Okay, so Ray,
it cut out. Call came in.
Gotcha. So Uncle G said he wanted you to start with a 12. I think he said 12 or 16 unit. What's your thought on that?
Honestly, man, for the common person that wants just to build a rental portfolio, go out and buy the singles, the 2 units, the 4 units, the 6 units, the 10 units, the 12 units. The thing is, mix it up. You don't need to just do 100 units. I mean, for the common person to go out and buy 100 units, it's not easy. You're gonna have to start somewhere. It took me many, many years building my rent roll. And when I got a little over the 300 mark, I was like, you know what? I'm content with the rent coming in. I'm content with the residual income from it. And that's how I was able to afford a lot of these fancy cars, because the residual rent covers,
Right.
you know how this works. I mean,
Yep.
We don't like going out there and just buying a car that we're going to have to pay for out of our pocket, use that residual income to do that. And let's face it, if you're playing in the car game right now, like, you bought the right car, like that car you could drive for a little while, sell it, not lose a dime on it. And really what it cost you then, some time, some payments maybe that were used from the residual income. It didn't matter. My last Ferrari I sold, I made $102,000 on it after owning it.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
So I made $102,000 after owning it for a year and a half, and I put 2,000 miles on it. So not always going out and being a baller with the cars. If we do it smart, just like the rental game, don't go out there and be the guy that has no rentals, says, I want to buy 200 units. I mean, let's get into realism. Go out and get a 2 unit or a 4 unit or a 6 unit or a 10 unit or a 12 unit or a 20 unit, and mix it up. I like the 2 units. I mean, that helped me build wealth, over the last 10 years, the 2 and the 4 units, right? Or the 5 units.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, it's hard for me to even sell them, because it's like, okay, I sell them and I want the buyer wants to bargain with me, right? Or I just keep collecting the rent. I will tell you, I just sold a 9 unit. This is a true story. I can show you the HUDs for the purchase and the sale. I bought a 9 unit back in 2009 that needed a lot of work, and I paid $190,000 for it. I've collected the rents for the last, 12 years. Okay. I just put that property under agreement for $700,000. After collecting for 12 years, I put the property under agreement for $699,000. Damn. Now you got fees coming off that, but now what you would say to me, why would I sell that? Right. Well, that's one of the first multis I've sold that I was happy with the number that I was given to sell it. Otherwise, I would have just kept it, because it generates me $6,500 a month in rent.
Damn, dude, man, Ray, there's so much stuff that I want to touch on, man, and but we got about like 3 or 5 minutes to go. Earlier, exactly what you just mentioned is about buying the toy. It's like, it's not about what you buy. It's where do you get the money to pay for that? That's what's more important, right? A lot of people, what they do is they use the active income. Whatever they make, they take that money and they go spend it. Instead, they should go buy asset and have the asset pay for the toy. So now your renter is the one that's paying for all that Ferrari, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you say. I mean, don't be a baller out no dollar, right? I mean, the bottom line: build your base, save up some cash, build some residual income. Maybe go out and wholesale some properties. Wholesaling right now is super safe. I watch all your TikToks. You do a great job with all your stuff. Dude, I admire you. I'm sure you have a lot of young students that are learning this game. And the bottom line is wholesale is one of the safest ways to make some money right now without having a lot of risk. And I made a lot of money in wholesale. I mean, I've done a ton of business in wholesale. And it's easy money because you can buy it, you sell it, you novate it. You don't have carry costs, insurance, taxes, closing costs. It's pushing this. That's it. It's pushing this.
Yep.
So the best business models out there.
Yeah. So listen, for those of you who watch this, man, I'm sitting here talking to a big player. So just so you guys know, all right, I'm just a little goldfish. I'm just a little Nemo here. Just trying to learn the game as well. Now, Ray, my whole thing is exactly what you mentioned earlier. When Grant put that out, I watched and I was like, dude, come on, man, shit. How many people, right, can save up enough to start out with 12 units? Now, how many people have the skills to go out there to raise private money, to raise hard money? So the typical average Joe, I believe that it's all about working your way up. Get that single family, roll 1031 to a duplex. The duplex, 1031 to the 4 units, the 5 units, and then the apartment building. It's like you got to just keep on growing. It's like, to me, you got to learn how to crawl before you walk. Because if you don't learn how to crawl and then you start running, guess what happened? One little speed bump and boom, it'll wipe you out. So you can't. So not knowing anything in real estate and then thinking, hey, I'm going to jump in and I'm just going to buy 16 units. Well, let me tell you something. A roof that needs to be redone on a 16 units versus a single family home is 16 times. So you don't have the money, you don't get the reserve. Guess what, my friend? Boom, you're done.
Yeah.
Correct. And the thing is, majority of people, Ray, once they fail at something, it's extremely hard for them to pick back up again because you lose your, basically now you lose your confidence, you lose the momentum. Like now, basically, like the fear just grew a lot bigger, and now you constantly replaying this thing where, oh, I'm a failure. So when I first got into real estate, I hired my mentor, and my mentor said, "Hey, Khang, regardless how much you make on your first deal, but you got to come out positive because that's going to help boost your confidence. Like whether you make $500 or $1,000, you need to come out winning because it's going to set up for the rest."
Baby steps are okay, because play a little safe until you understand what you're doing, and build the blocks one at a time, nice and safe, because when you have setbacks are setbacks, and they hurt mentally, they hurt physically, they hurt financially, and I've made mistakes. I mean, trust me, I've made mistakes, jumping into things you shouldn't be jumping into, or getting the wrong mentor. Everything you teach online is amazing to me. Like everyone should listen to what you're doing, because honestly, if I had a mentor 10, 12 years ago, I'd be so much further ahead instead of trying to reinvent the wheel. I tell everyone this: stop trying to reinvent the wheel. Learn your basics from somebody that knows what they're doing. And then you want to expand off of that, go ahead and do it. But first learn the basics and understand what you're getting yourself into, so there is risks, and, but like you're like me, I enjoy this game. I call it a game because I love what I do and it's so fun, but you're the best at also reaching many, I mean, you have millions and millions of people you reach.
See, the thing is, Ray, when you have FU money like you, then it becomes fun game. Then it becomes a fun game. Listen, those of you who's watching, once you get that FU money like Ray, everything becomes a game.
I mean, it's fun for me. I don't look at this work. I have a good time. Doing what I do, just like you do. You love teaching people. You love doing business. You love helping people. I'm the same way. I had a special. I ran out there a little while for my program. I actually put my program out there. I gave it to veterans for free.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I gave it for free.
Dude, bro, that's amazing.
I try to help people just like you are. You're just really better at getting a hold of people better than I am and getting your name out there. You're really good at social media stuff. You really are.
Well, see, the thing is, Ray, I think that when I put my stuff out there, I think a lot of people say, you know what? I think I can do what Khang do because, going from 0 to 1 million is easy. But Ray, with Ray going from, maybe 0 to 100 million, for them, it's like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do it. So they like to go after the smaller fish like me.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Remember, I'm still that college guy that drove home my junior year in college, dealt with all the disappointments from everybody around me, and I made it work. I made it work because I had good work ethic. You have to have good work ethic, right? If you don't have work ethic, you got to have good work ethic. You got to have good, a set of standards. You got to be able to, understand and learn a process. Whether you want to, flip real estate, or you want to wholesale real estate, or you just want to build a rental portfolio of 100 units or 300 units. I have doctors that work with me that literally just want literally just 20, 30, 40 units. And that's all they want. They don't want nothing more than that. Right. And they set their goal and they set it and they reach it and they carry those things for 5, 10, 12 years. So everyone has to set a goal of what they're looking to do, whether it be.
We lost you, Ray.
There you
Ray,
are.
Are you there? Hey.
Yeah, I lost you.
Yeah, hey, Ray. I don't mean to cut you off. We got about another minute or so. So let me ask you this, Ray. I know obviously you make a boatload of money in real estate, and you're super successful. And I know that you have helped a lot of people, that hundreds of thousands of people make money just like you, man. So for those that wants to reach out, connect to you, or coaching, mentorship, or whatever, man, how can they get a hold of you, Ray?
Just go right to my thing. It's rehabboud.com. Just my name, Ray, RayABBOUD.com. And I do mentoring. I have a program on there that teaches you everything step by step. It's opposite of your program. You're all wholesale. I'm doing all retail. Different times, different folks, different strokes. But I show people how to find the deals, fund the deals, and resell the deals. But rehabboud.com. I'm also on social media as Rehabboud on Instagram, Rehabboud10x. On Instagram there. They can message me on there as well, just like you respond to me on Instagram. I can't believe how fast you respond to people on Instagram. It's amazing to me. So
well, yeah. So Ray, any last word that you want to say to the viewer, man, especially those who are, new into the game, getting started into the game?
Invest in yourself, put your best work ethic first forward, stick to it. And I promise you, if you keep consistent, you will actually make something happen, if it's in real estate. I don't know about if you're a plumber or something, but if you're looking real estate, consistency, and also educating yourself. I do it too. I buy different people's programs to understand what they do. I'm always learning, just like you are. We're all learning to try and improve ourselves. So whenever you can mentor up or connect with somebody, and help each other improve and grow, you got to do that. But always, always remember to try and put a solid work ethic in front of you and actually stick to it. Because without the work ethic, it's going to be a little difficult to get ahead.
Ray, I love it, man. And Ray, I want to say, dude, thank you so much for taking your precious time to jump on to do this with me. For those of you, if you make sure I'll leave Ray all his link in the description so you can go check him out. Ray, thank you so much for your time, man. Take care, dude. Thank you so much, Ray. Appreciate you, dude.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, you guys, that's it. Once again, I hope you enjoyed this interview. And if you do, please show myself or your boy King Khang and the guest some love. Boom, smash the thumbs up. You're new to the channel. Be sure to, boom, smash that subscribe button. But I got to run. Until next time, take care and ciao.